In this video, we're going to talk about the test scores. Test scores are normally distributed. We have a mean score of 75 with a standard deviation of 8.5. I want to find the z-scores for the test of 50 and 84 and then determine if they're unusual. So z-score is x minus mu over sigma. So for a score of a 50 on a test, the z-score is 50 minus 75, the mean, divided by a standard deviation, 8.5. Type that into the calculator. Make sure you put a parentheses around the numerator. You get negative 2.941. And so I would round this to negative 2.94. And if I do a normally distributed graph, I see here negative is on the left side of 0, negative 2.94. Now, what percentile is this going to be? I go look up negative 2.94 in my z-chart. Negative 2.9 and then 4. That looks like the 0.0016. Really small there. So 0.0016, so that's 0.16%. That's really small. I would definitely say that that is unusual. Anything that's 2 or more standard deviations out is unusual. You think about 2 or more standard deviation, that's negative 2, that's positive 2. So anything in this range would be normal. And then anything outside that range would be unusual. Okay? All right, so this is greater than 2 standard deviations away from me. That's an unusual test score. Now let's try z equal 84 minus 75 over 8.5. What do you get there when you type that in? You get 1.058, which is rounded to 2 decimals, 1.06. This is only about 1 standard deviation away from the mean. That's not unusual. If I looked at a percentile, I graph this, 0 in the middle, 1.06 here. What percentile is this? Well, if you score in this range, you go look up 1.06 in your z-chart, 0.8554. So that means that you scored higher. So say you make an 84 on the test, you scored higher than 85.454% of the class. Okay, so this is 86th percentile. Not too bad. Now, just to make sure we got this down, values that are more than 2 standard deviations from the mean are unusual. And then values that are 3 or more standard deviations away from the mean are very unusual. Okay? Very unusual when you're 3 or more standard deviations from the mean. So with that first test score of a 50, we were 2.94, basically 3 standard deviations away from the mean. And you're not even in the first percentile. That's really unusual to score a 50 when the average was a 75. So you're scoring a 50 or lower, might be time to drop. Okay? But if you score 84 and the average was a 75, hey, you're not doing too bad. You beat out 85% of the class, 86% of the class. So you're in, that top 15% of the class, which is not a bad score. 84 is not a bad score when the average is 75. So it kind of gives you an idea of where you fall with respect to your grade in the rest of